Hi, this is Srinivas, Tamada, founder of nihilation.info. In this video, I'm going to talk about Cypress. It is a UI automation tool. It's an alternate for protractor. So Angular is actually going to replicate the protractor. So using the Cypress, how to implement a UI automation for your React and Angular projects. So I'm going to implement the test for this existing project. I think few months back, I posted the article about lazy loading. It has like index and the home routes, and based on that, it loads the components. I think this is the project. Like you can give your email and whatever password you want, and it has some links. When you log in, you will see the dashboard links and some child components. And when you log out, and you can see all these. And the same way, it has a mobile view as well. So how are we going to automate these so that when you do CI/CD, so continuous integration, continuous development, so you can test end-to-end flows using the Cypress. It is pretty simple. You want to try a demo, so you can just download this Angular routing and you can just check out and write this. So for this, I already checked out and it started running. So that's what I showed you. And for this, you need a Node dash version, and it should be like 16.10.0 because few days back, I just updated this project with the Angular 13. So you need the latest, at least minimum 16.10.0. You need to install ng globally Cypress. So that way you'll get more control. So right now I think I have the 9.0 version for the Cypress. And let's start implementing it. Let me open this project. So let me open this with Visual Code. And you see these versions. So right now we don't have Cypress. I'm going to implement the Cypress for this, and they're pretty simple steps. Yeah, so first you need to install in project level Cypress. So I'm going to give Cypress and save dev for the dev dependencies. So I'm not using the Visual Code terminal because it's pretty small, so I'm going to show it in the main terminal. So this will update the Cypress and the package.json, and the same with the node modules as well. So when you deploy this, you can implement with this Cypress as well. And the meanwhile, like if you look at this, every input and everything, it has to be the unique IDs you have to specify. So that way testing is more easy. If you look at everything, I gave a specific IDs like login, email, and every button, and the same way for the link. Everything has to be IDs, like a forgot link, because automation need all these IDs to recognize these events, to trigger. Yeah, usually Cypress will take a little longer time to download. It is a zip format. I think it's going to extract in the behind the scenes. If you are using a Windows, try to change your Visual Code with git bash. Yeah, now the Cypress has been installed. If you look at the changes in the package.json, you will see that Cypress related. And now we are actually going to add, it is npx and Cypress, and if you say open, so it is going to create a Cypress folder in this, and then it's going to add all the projects. It's a default files. So you will see this kind of window for the something verifying the Cypress. Yeah, if anything wrong like this and you need to try it again, yeah, it is going to launch like this, and it will show you some files here. All these are like default example ones. You can close this window right now. And if you see here, there is a Cypress got some file structure got added here to the existing project, and the same way you will see the cypress.json file. This is the main configuration file, and you will see this integration test, and it has some test they already written. So let's there are so many here, so you can delete these for now. And you see some plugin index.js, and the same way some support files and command.js and the index. And here's some, you can keep all the mock information here. Basically, we can call it as fixtures. Now let's work on this configuration file. So this one you can introduce base URL, basically where exactly your project is running, because if it is a React, is a different port, and if it is an Angular, it's a localhost 4200. So, and I'm going to explain how we're going to deal with the different environments as well. And there is a test files, we call it as. So this basically points to this integration folder because we are writing integration test right now. I'm going to give star.star. So I'm going to, because we have a multiple mediums are there, like a desktop and the mobile, because for now all the tests I'm going to write for the desktop. So I'm going to fix the width, because every time test has to run this resolution. And the same way viewport height is like 800. And there is a video, you can record the video, because Cypress is going to record the video how the test is running. Let's make it true, but going forward we're going to turn off that as well. And I'm going to enable one more. All these you'll find it in the documentation. So screenshot on run failures. If anything failure, so this will give you a screenshot so that you can easily recognize what is exactly is missing. For file change, so this should be false because we'll keep updating it. We should not impact the load time. And there is another one called Chrome web security. So when you're dealing with any cross browsing or any captcha things, so this should be false, otherwise Chrome will not allow you to do all these things. And finally, you can give page load timeout, like so for now we can give 60 seconds, 60,000 milliseconds. So this is the basic configuration. If you have a React project, change it to 3000, and if it is Ionic, change it to something else. So these values you can use it when you configure the Cypress. And I suggest try to avoid like Cypress screenshots and the videos to GitHub. And so there is a GitHub ignore file. We no need to push this into GitHub. Sometime it will be very large. And we made it true. Video, it usually takes a lot of RAM to create a video, but I'll just show you first some demo and then I'll turn it off. So let's go to this page. Basically this is a login page. Initially, if user is not giving anything, if you type it, it gives like please give valid data. And if you type something, and also it gives, and if you give the valid email, and it goes. And the same way, and when you log out, and there is a forgot and the sign up, everything. So let's only write for the login to check all the labels are fine. Even this name is fine, because if you're handling multiple teams, you never know if anybody change the names, entire project is going to be a problem. So let's test for this login page first. So it's pretty simple. You can just, I'm going to create a login.spec.js file. It's a simple test file. And this is like exactly like a Karma. It's like describe, I'm going to give login page. And then you can, I think this start with before each. And here you have to see like visit. Like you can give like localhost 4200. So if you look at this project, when I try to hit the localhost 42200, it automatically redirects to the login. If you already sign in and when you type the localhost 200, it directly goes to the dashboard. It based on the session storage of the user information. So, but we're just checking the login. So I'm trying to visit this 4200 and on the before each, I mean whenever test starts. And then I'm going to write test here, and you can give like, should display the login page. And we are checking the URL first. Is URL contains login route or not? We should. And then include. So if you give something else, it should fail, or else it'll pass. And then like I have a h1 on the page. It's a main page title. I'm just giving like, the login, because this is the h1 I'm talking about. So basically the test, it's going to launch this localhost 4200 and then see the path is redirected to login, and it sees this page is having this login or not. This is a simple test written, and let me format. And now you can run this, because make sure this is running in this background, because this needed. Now you can just try to run this Cypress run. That's it. So it directly goes to the integration folder. It goes to the configuration and star everything. If not, you can give like login spec.js as well. And first time it's take little time because to launch the Cypress. And once it started launching, and you will see it actually checking this login.spec file, and you will see this, Cypress, the display. I think this is how it shows, like test passed. If I give something like, maybe your business is asking like sign in, so this is going to fail. Yeah, so I gave the wrong name, so it is saying that it should expecting is a login, but instead we gave sign in. So let's revert back, and yes, now it got failed, and you can see here the test failure. It captured the screenshot where exactly it failed. It gives you the failure like this, because it is actually login, but we gave sign in. And the same way you can see how the test went through. Sometimes video takes a little longer time to finish. Let me forward it. It'll be pretty quick. Yeah, it goes here. You can see that what exactly happened. Yeah, so this is a simple test. It just launched it and see. So next time, like whenever you run it, this page, you can like see this login and the path you already tested now. So here, like you can just, we have a base URL that also you can configure it. Like you can just create a const and URL, and then you can just call it like this, because config and base URL. So that URL, you can just use it like this directly. And that way, like if going forward, if you're using for environments, it'll automatically capture. We are not fixing anything here. That I'll talk about later. Yeah, so now let's continue and make sure the component, everything, every input and the button, everything has to be uniquely, specify the IDs. So that way test will be more easy to write. So the same way, like you can write some more test, like you can like should verify page labels. I mean, like you can see every label, everything is there or not. I mean, like how we verified the H1, and now I'm going to verify the ID for, like, I have forgot link. I'm just whatever the name is there here, this has to be there. The ID comes with a hash login button, and we're checking the button as well. And we have some more in the top, like sign in and sign up and the login. So that is also I'm going to check. Maybe this is a mobile view, it will not visible. So that also I'll talk about how we're going to write a separate test for the mobile as well. And if you look at there is a sign up menu link, make sure there is no space. So that's what I configured it. Yeah, this is how you can write a test. And I just verified the labels, and I'm going to write about whenever user comes to this page, and if try to hit something like without giving an information, we need to check this, and it has some ID or not, we need to verify. Yeah, I just gave has text danger, so I should say verify login validation message, but I'm giving this, but this usually happen whenever you click on the login page. So the action happen here. So the login button dot click. So when I come to this page, it should appear. So that I tested, and let's write about some more, like we'll talk about the inputs. So this time I'm just checking the invalid login inputs. I mean, like, so user is giving, the plain information like this. When I click it, it's, so that is also I'm checking now. So it's the same way, like, but in this case, we have inputs and focus. So it's in focus, input, focus. And then if anything is there, I'm just clearing off. All this you'll get it in the Cypress documentation. So I'm just giving instead of email, I'm just giving just a name. And then we are clicking this and see this is coming or not. So that is one more test, and we need to write another one, like, the valid. I mean, once it is valid, I'm just giving like Srinivas at 9lesson.info, and it has to redirect to the dashboard. So that is another test I'm going to write. So valid input, so I'm just giving proper, but in your case, like there are so many validations involved, you have to write such a way. Maybe for email, it is a different validation message, and password, different validation message. For this demo, I cannot cover everything. I'm just showing it off. In this case, there is no, will not be here. And then it should redirect to the, so I clicked it here, and in this case, so whenever it comes to dashboard, I need to see this is a H1. So if it comes to this page, you can just verify this page title. So this is like, again, like a H1 tag, and then contains dashboard. So I'm just going to format this. So let's trigger this. So this is pretty simple, right? Like we written a lot of tests like this. Yeah, when you run Cypress run, now it is going to check each and every line item, whatever we written. Yeah, so the labels passed, and validation message passed, and something we got an error here. Let's see what went wrong. Yeah, so you can verify there's a screenshot and see this login email is not there, and it is saying that. And we got in a video as well. It's a pretty long video, you can see, but sometimes video takes lot of memory. I'm just making it false. If you make it false going forward, it's not going to record the video. If you want, you make it true, but I'm just going to turn off now. So let's go and see the test. Yeah, so I missed a hash here. That's the reason it's failing. Yep, H1 it's not needed. Let's quickly run it again. Yep, see, all the tests got passed. This is how the automation works. If multiple people are working on something, if somebody touched your names or something, or if somebody removed, somebody added something, so they need to adjust this test. Otherwise, you can easily identify the bugs. So there is no regression testing anymore. Everything we automated using the Cypress. And but in your case, like there is a mobile view as well. How are we going to test the mobile view? Because in this case, the nav bar is coming, but I haven't implemented the action for this. Maybe I'm going to fix it for this demo, but in particular resolution only we are showing it up. But we quickly, we can like test it, like is this visible or not in the mobile view, and how are we going to like convert this for multiple views. So we call it as a contest. You can write multiple contests like this, like mobile view. So this is like one kind of a describe method. The same way you can write for mobile, I mean desktop. So I would say this is like mobile and the iPad. So I think we are configured already for the, for the desktop version. So here little bit modifications we do. So now this is a pretty common one. So I'm moving on the top. So all this test, you can keep it in the desktop. And this before each comes for both of them, even for the mobile and the desktop as well. For mobile, we'll check we're going to add some more tests for the navbar. So viewport, you can just specify particular resolution. So I'm going to give 500 into like 750px, because that you can see it here on the top side. So I think I fixed it for 1000px, but I'm randomly checking for a little lower version because the default one is 1200. But below than that, when you visit with this resolution, we are going to write one more test like this. It's specifically checking should display the navbar. And this is H1 is same, and all the links are same, but we're only checking like cy.get navbar. Yeah, navbar burger gave a class name, should be dot visible. In this case is visible, and when it comes to the desktop, we can quickly check here. Yeah, now you see the different port, like for the mobile and the desktop. You see all the test. Yeah, pretty much done for the login. The same way you can create it for the dashboard, spec.js. You can duplicate this file, and you can write the same way for settings.spec.js. But in this case, like, and all the other two pages, like you have to log in and then only you have to see these pages. You cannot go directly. So to accessing these two pages, we need a login action, but we cannot duplicate the code multiple times. Like basically you have to write this action completely, like giving this all this information. So instead there is a configuration called commands. Here you can just, I'm trying to enable this now. So here you can simply configure this, and so it is giving some suggestion, but into the commands. And here if you want, you can pass the information through the, so now this is a command. So this is a login command. So automatically it gives the username and password. You can give different informations. If not, like just ignore and fix it here. If you want dynamic, just giving password as a password. So now the same test, instead of writing all this, you can just simply give cy.login. So the cy.login, basically it comes to the login command and executes this. Now let's start this dashboard.spec.js. It's the same way again. Again, it's a describe method, and before each you are using cy, and if you want you can pass this information, but right now we are actually directly calling this. So every page we need a success login, and then you have to see the dashboard is working or not. Then yeah, now we need to give the better, we can modify this with email and the password so that we can check with multiple. So this is going to be this password reference. So whatever email you are giving, that has to be display here. And when it comes to settings, initially it has to come to the dashboard, and then you have to click on the settings, and we are seeing the settings page now. And later you're going to check everything, whatever is loading or not. Right now we don't have anything. So whenever you change the routes, you have to give a little wait time. So I would say, so this is the settings page. The same way I'm giving a username and some information, password, and clicking on the settings link. I'm just giving a little wait time here and see this H1 tag and see the settings page got loaded. Yeah, the same thing now. Let's run it. I need to modify this a little bit because I need to pass this information properly. And if you want, you can simplify other things as well. Here, just log in. So this is the actual one, and this is invalid data. So you can pass like wrong data, so that way you can test multiple things. So now we can run the same test, and so we updated for dashboard and the same way for the spec and settings. So all these things automatically hooked up, everything runs individually. Usually it'll go alphabetical order and dashboard and then login and settings, but in this case things got failed. Let's see what went wrong. I see it's not found, which means it not even go to this page. I think the commands, we missed adding something, like basically because in the dashboard page we are not specifying where exactly it is going. So instead we are going to keep that base URL stuff here. So this way it directly takes the base URL from the config and then it visits, then it will check these things. So we are minimizing the code. So the same common code we are using all the places. So that way you can write the same thing for all other pages, product settings, everything. Yeah, if you look at this report, all the tests got passed in just 19 seconds. So all the cases, how much tightly you're going to implement this Cypress, you can verify each and every label and each and every action. So that way, when you are working with the multiple teams, people going to mess up things because we have a common language files, and if somebody touches something, it may impact your page. So this way you can protect your pages. And yeah, so if the tests are going big, the video is going to be very big and it takes a lot of RAM. So better make it turn off. It's really needed. You just make it true. So that is pretty much for this video. Maybe next video I'm going to talk about how we can run this for multiple environments, maybe how to run this again is production. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this video.